And now, ladies and gentlemen, you are entering New York's greatest place for all things film. Starring your host, Tommy Smart, your co-host, DJ Gowski, your head of reviews, Brother Wells, and your news anchor, Haley Marks. We now enter the studios to bring you The Screening Room on WRHU.
And good morning, this is Tommy Smart, live in New York. Gowski's bringing me to you via the magic of WRHU 88.7 FM. And on this Sunday morning, and was it still September? It's still September, actually. I walked outside, I thought it was October. And with the moonlight last night, I was thinking about, what was it, Van Morrison's Moon Dance, that song, Moon Dance, if you ever see that.
Full Moon,
that song.
I heard the song, but...
Right. You've heard it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the song.
Yeah. It's nice. Gorgeous. But it's like, yeah, I was thinking about that, so it made me think it was October. But anyway, no, it's September 26, 2015 here. And, of course, here on this edition of The Screening Room, for the next hour, we're going to rock your body with all the best thing that's going on with news and cinema. And, of course, later in the film, we're actually going to talk about Nancy Meyer's new movie, The Intern, as well as Stonewall and Hotel Transylvania 2. Want to do that one more time, see if we get it right on the first time?
One, go ahead.
2, 3.
Hotel Transylvania 2.
Little off, guys, but good try.
Yeah, it's by like a microsecond.
At least we try, right? At least we try. But anyway, we're going to have some fun here later on the show. We're going to have Jason Feeks. He's the screenwriter of the new movie Pan, which is really cool, too, because if you guys didn't know this, Pan actually wasn't made was in the studio project. It was actually something this guy wrote on spec. He wanted to get produced. So that's really fun. And he's going to talk to us later about that. And apparently he's doing a new Wonder Woman movie, but he can't talk about it, which is...
They are secretive, those people.
We got to bring him back when that
DC.
comes on.
Oh, yeah,
We have to bring him back.
I mean, he says he can't say anything about it. He didn't deny it, or...
So excited for
Can't
Pan,
deny
though.
Yeah, it'd be fun, right? Yeah.
Oh, it
of
looks
course,
so good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
But we can't deny nor confirm this information at the moment.
I know, right? It drove me nuts when I was talking to him about it, because he was like... He's like a politician saying, like, I cannot deny or say that this is confirmed, that this is
It's
actually
the same thing with Christopher
on.
Nolan films. Like, they're just sworn to secrecy, those people.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one, honestly, though.
Which Pan one?
Well, Pan and also Wonder Woman, because, like, DC needs movies. Just seriously.
Well, no, they're trying to, like, that's why they put Wonder Woman in Batman vs. Superman, because they want to actually try to speed up the process, because it's going to take a couple years for her to get her own film, so they have to be introduced somehow. But
Sure.
Right. Same with Aquaman, too.
Aquaman? Mm-hmm. What about Mermaid Man? He's going to get his own movie?
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
I know, right?
Yeah. Might as well add Namor over there,
That'll be
too.
SpongeBob movie 3.
Do we really need another SpongeBob movie? Is that necessary?
No, it's an acid trip, the second one. Like, what's the third one going to be like?
Third one was enough.
That's just my definition.
Yeah.
But no, of course, on the show we'll have more of that and more. But first, I want to talk about this. All right, this guy, Aaron Sorkin, brutal response for Apple CEO Steve Jobs' comments. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, after Steve Jobs died, said the movie was opportunistic attempt at
his life.
basically on his life. And Aaron Sorkin, being the man that he is, goes like, quote, "If you've got a factory full of children in China assembling phones for 17 cents an hour, you've got a lot more nerve calling someone else opportunistic." Okay.
Whoa. Already got a little bit of a split of his life already. Dude.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Shots been fired.
Bang, bang.
So, all right, here's the thing. Is it opportunistic? Well, capitalism is an opportunistic thing. I don't want to get into that about basically how you guys realize it's actually more free market and, just more freedom for companies basically to ship their stuff overseas and manufacture it there. It's cheaper. It's better for us because the product's cheaper than the final product. But that's different. Beside the point. Okay, so opportunistic. All right, anytime you make a movie about a person's life, biopics, they're all opportunistic. The real opportunistic movie, Steve Jobs movie, was a Jobs movie with Ashton Kutcher made right after Steve Jobs died.
Right.
Like 3 years ago.
That's a good point.
Because that script was terrible. That was like as entertaining as watching a documentary on Steve Jobs' life. It's garbage. It's terrible.
Yeah. The whole thing was
I mean, I
rushed.
see where he's trying to, attempt it. Like, it makes sense. And, he probably wanted to give some, like, stuff back to Steve Jobs. But
so like you're saying, I got you. What?
Give back to, how amazing of a man he actually was, but, his whole story.
Right. One thing I like about
They could have just started with a documentary first, then get the movie.
Yeah, right.
Here's the thing about it, though.
Which they've done now.
Which I kind of like about this, seems about the new Steve Jobs film, is that it's actually not just like a birth to death story of his life. It's taking basically a period of his life and making an entire film out of that.
And it's like going all the
far.
way up to like more up to date, more to like when he got to the years when he passed away. Like it,
Right.
Apple, Nexus, everything, the iPod.
But so that's what happened this week. One thing, we'll talk about some more stuff later. Basically, the Crow movie still doesn't have a director, and Fast and Furious. Vin Diesel was upset because they're not doing the Jason Bourne Fast and Furious crossover movie. Or is that just me that's upset about that? Maybe.
Actually, no, I'm kind of upset about that too. Like,
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be really cool if we did that? If they
It
did
would,
that?
but I mean,
it's kind of like weren't they gonna like cross another movie? It was like Men in Black was gonna do
Men in
something
Black with 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Why? I mean that's
Well, no,
a
the
little
thing is
weird.
they're making a remake now without Will Smith, so now it's
Okay.
actually almost possible.
All right. I mean, but this one can actually have some good potential. Like, it
Right,
could
but
be
Jason
James-
Bourne will wipe the
Jason-
floor with every one of
Oh
them.
my gosh.
He would destroy that entire crew.
Well, at least that'll mean no more movies, no more Fast and Furious movies. The series can finally end. Way cool. So all that and more here on the Screening Room. When we get back, I'm going to play the pre-taped interview with Jason Feeks, so we'll learn more about the Pan movie and why there was actually a Nirvana song put into Netherland. So when we get that, I have that and more here on the Screening Room. But first, Haley, what you got for me?
So, Angelina Jolie heads to Cambodia. An NYC filmmaker is killed in a car accident, and more rumors circulate around Star Wars Episode 8. That's all coming up well, not right now. Next in the Screening Room.
Is that
get back-
Nirvana song Lithium?
Lithium? What about it?
No, I mean, which is the Nirvana song that's in the pan?
Oh, we'll see. Anyway, we get back here on Screening Room. This is 80.7 FM, WRHU.
Angelina Jolie heads to Cambodia. The A-list actress, director, and producer has a unique project underway. Jolie made a statement today to the Associated Press that she has spent a week scouting locations in Cambodia for her upcoming documentary, First Time They Killed My Father. The film chronicles the Khmer rogue regime. Pitt is passionate for Cambodian human rights as her son Maddox was adopted from the country. Maddox is heavily involved in the film as he was adopted from Cambodia. Human rights activist Leung Ung was also tapped to work on the project. The film is set for release on Netflix in late 2016. An NYC filmmaker is killed in a car accident. Nick Lavelle, an NYC filmmaker, was killed this morning in a single car crash in East Hampton. Police say the accident happened shortly after 1 a.m. The 34-year-old was brought to Stony Brook, where he was pronounced dead. Lavelle is best known for directing the 2005 mystery thriller Domino 1, starring Natalie Portman. His film was selected for next month's Hamptons Film Festival. His film, entitled Condemned, is about the first prosecuted rape as a war crime in Rwanda. And let the rumors circulate. Brace yourselves, Star Wars fans. Actor Hayden Christensen may return as Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 8. According to the Star Wars production team, not only is Darth Vader rumored to possibly appear in Rogue Episode 1, but in Episode 8 as well. Episode 8 is currently in production and filming in Ireland. That's all the news I have for you guys right now. Back to you, Tommy.
Hey, did you find out that basically, what was it? Samuel Jackson was trying to use the Kingsman as an excuse to get out of jury duty?
No,
love-
that's nice. Actually, I wish I could do that one time in my life.
He's Sam Jackson's, man. He can do that.
I wish I could do that too. That'd be funny. Anyway, right now we have Pan, the screenwriter of Pan. Basically, was this, he wrote it originally because he really wanted to, because it was a lifelong dream of his to be able to do that. His name's Jason Feeks. He's also wrote Ice Age 4, and that was a really big success for him. And it's always cool when you get to talk to a screenwriter who's young, because he's 29 now. So when he wrote Ice Age 4, he was like really young. Well, I mean, like not much older than I am. And to be a screenwriter and to get that big break and actually have a commercial success, and then you get the freedom to do whatever you want after that, it's amazing. I love talking to people like that. So right now I'm going to play this, so please hit me, Galski. So I'm live now with Jason Feeks. He's the screenwriter of the new film Pan, which is really cool because this is actually a movie that he wrote himself and actually wanted to get made. Anyway, listen, I got to talk to this guy about it. He's a terrific guy. Anyway, Jason, what's up?
I am sitting here doing press for the film and enjoying every second of it. It's very, very surreal, I have to tell you. this is a movie that I wanted to make for a while. It was sort of my little passion project, and it is very strange and trippy to see the billboards everywhere and commercials on TV, and it's thrilling. And I love the movie. It's nice to promote something where you're genuinely proud of the product. And in this case, I think the movie turned out pretty darn good.
And you know, Jason, there's this old saying that every filmmaker will say that there's the movie you write, there's the movie that you direct, and there's the movie you edit. Now, you coming at this as a screenwriter and you looking at the film evolve from the script to screen, what is different about the film that is something that you didn't write?
I mean, the truth is, Joe, our director Joe Wright, who did Atonement and Hannah and Pride and Prejudice, really kind of a brilliant dude. Joe is very collaborative and very inclusive of me, so it's not so much that there's all kinds of new stuff as it is that all these little pieces you work on for so long, when they all come together, it's kind of breathtaking because you're looking at it on such a microscopic level as you're making the film. You're worried about what the Neverbirds look like and what Blackbeard's going to wear, and then you're worried about the score. And so to finally see all those disparate pieces all together in one big, cool movie, that's the part where it kind of takes your breath away. And I'd been very involved throughout production and post-production, so I'd seen many, many cuts of the film, but I really had not seen the finished product, including all of John Powell's score and all the finished visual effects until this past Sunday. I went to see the world premiere at Leicester Square with my girlfriend and my parents, and it was really, really exciting. And it's rare that you have a movie that comes out much better than you imagined it could be, but this is an example of that. Joe really elevated an idea and a script I had to a very different place. So it's great. It's thrilling.
Now, take me back a little bit and tell me how did you become a screenwriter? Because you got your break on the commercially successful franchise Ice Age. Now, that's really a tough gig to get. How did you start out as a writer? Because you originally started out as an actor, is that correct?
Yeah, I started out as an actor. I acted my whole life. I still do a little bit of acting here and there. But Ice Age 4 came about because I was getting into screenwriting. I had written a screenplay for a romantic comedy that I was going to act in and was trying to get that made unsuccessfully. But my agent sent that script to Fox as a writing sample to read, to consider me to team up with a writer named Michael Berg, who had co-written Ice Age 1 and co-written Ice Age 3. And was getting ready to begin writing Ice Age 4, and they wanted to bring in a fresh voice to the franchise. And so Fox read that script. I then got a call from Fox saying, hey, would you be interested in writing the fourth Ice Age movie? And I sort of said, yeah, absolutely. And they said, well, have you seen the films? And at that point, I had not, so I said, yes, I have. And they said, do you like them? And I said, no, I love them. And they said, well, that's great. What do you respond to most about them? And I sort of thought, well, everyone kind of says the same thing when they're a part of an animated movie. They always go, oh, the comedy. It's accessible for grown-ups but appropriate for children. So I said that, and the executive said, oh, that's the thing we're the most proud of. So I said, great. And I quickly watched Ice Ages 1 through 3 back to back to back, and then went and pitched on what my version of an Ice Age movie would be. And 2 years later, the movie came out. But that was a very unique writing process because when you do animation, it's the closest thing as a writer you sort of get to a desk job, where you really, I was living in New York City and commuting up to Greenwich, Connecticut, where Blue Sky Studios is based. That's the production company that makes the Ice Age films. And you'd show up and you'd go to the office and write all day and meet with the story artists and character designers. And so that was really my first opportunity to work on a project of that scale and a film that I knew was going to come out. And, I mean, I think Ice Age had a release date before I actually put pen to paper on it.
Wow.
So that was really a life-changing opportunity. And like you said, the film commercially was successful and people seemed to respond well to it. And it opened up opportunities as a writer that I had never had before.
Right. And when you're in that industry, everybody knows that if you have one successful film, commercially successful film, you're practically set for life. You know? I mean, almost, but yeah, practically set for life.
It changes things. I mean, it's hard to say how much of that is attributable to, me or the screenwriting or at one particular component, because those Ice Age films just have so much going for them. The cast is so strong. The characters that they've established, people love and want to come back and revisit. But I was definitely proud of the script that Michael and I wrote for that film, and it was very gratifying to see people in the industry suddenly sort of give me a chance to talk about what I wanted to do next, which is what led to Pan.
And right, there's nothing else that is interesting about the making of this picture. It's the fact that you actually wrote this yourself. This is your original script that I guess you wrote on spec, maybe? Yeah, that's what you call it. And yeah, so talking about that a little bit, right? Because that's just so interesting, right? Because typically it wasn't a writing assignment. Like a studio wasn't forcing you to write. This was your own original piece.
Correct.
Script, right.
Pan was not what they call an open writing assignment. No, it was an original idea. I had wanted to write Pan since I was 9 years old. I got, the Disney World Peter Pan ride?
Right.
Been on that?
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was on that ride, and I got stuck on it with my dad when you're in the pirate ship flying over miniature London. And I was stuck there for, must have been 30 minutes. And the whole 30 minutes, I was just asking my dad all these questions about why things were where they were in the world of Neverland, why Peter could fly, why he and Hook hated each other so much. And genuinely, it was from that moment forward that I was sort of obsessed with this idea of what Neverland looked like before J.M. Barrie picks up the story in his book. And something I would just think about over the years and think of different pieces of it. And when I finished Ice Age, I really felt like this was the thing I wanted to do next. It was the story I was the most passionate about telling. And so I went out and tried to pitch it and thought, this is going to go really well. Everybody's going to love this. And instead, nobody bought it. At the time, this is sort of mid-2012, every studio was developing some version of the Peter Pan project.
Wow.
So I was bummed. I was totally crestfallen. I was really disappointed. And I just held on to this idea that maybe one day I'd take this idea off the shelf and be able to see it come together. But I would pitch this to anybody who would listen for that year. If you went on a date with me between mid-2012 and mid-2013, you probably heard this pitch. And it was mid-2013. It was right before the summer that I had a meeting with Warner Brothers, which is the one studio I'd never had the opportunity to pitch to. And Sarah Schechter, who's then an executive on at Warner's, who's now a producer on our film, sat me down and said, if you could write anything next, what would it be? And I said, anything? She said, yeah. And I said, well, there's this Peter Pan thing that I've been dying to do that no one wants, so you're probably not going to have any interest either, so why didn't tell you? And she said, no, I want to hear this. And I pitched it to her, and she said, this sounds cool. Let's do it. And just like that, I told the pitch. After a year of feeling like it was not going anywhere, suddenly a studio was going to pay me to write it. And so I wrote it over the summer of 2013, tried to be very quick because we knew we were, sort of a competitive landscape. And by the fall, we were going out to directors, and sort of the dream director for all of us, I think, was Joe Wright. And I had zero expectation that we'd be able to land someone like Joe. But when Joe said yes, it really did feel like kind of a fairy tale dream come true fulfillment of what had been a very long process.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Jason Figgs. He's the screenwriter of the new Pan film, which is coming on October 9th. Anyway, Jason, I got to talk to you about the sets, because you actually use sets in this film, which is ironic because most studio budgeted films are CGI. All these blockbusters, huge blockbusters, disgusting with the CGI. It's nauseating. But you actually use real sets in this film. So
this is all due to the genius of Joe Wright and our production designer Aline Bonetto. I mean, I think one of the things that Joe was passionate about early in the process was actually building as much of this world practically as could be done. There are so many revisionist fairy tales out there. So many studios, so many filmmakers are trying to do a similar thing. And one of the things that happens when you're building an imaginary world is you tend to rely on CGI. And we certainly have our share of CGI, but Joe really wanted to make this world feel tactile, like a real place. And so Joe and Aline decided they were going to build 4 blocks of the Neverwood up at Cardington, these giant sound stages north of London, where, I've never seen, I think they said it was the largest physical set ever constructed in the UK. It was just extraordinary. It felt like walking into an amusement park that happened to be based on a script you'd written. It was very, very exciting. But from the Neverwood to the pirate ships, Joe and Aline built 3 pirate ships. It was a very, very cool experience. And I think that translates visually into a cinematic experience. It's really unique and really distinguishes itself from a lot of similar genre fare.
And let me ask you as the person who watches movies, do you think that this CGI epidemic where we see so many movies, just everything is CGI, nothing's really built, do you think that hurts or helps movies today?
I think every movie needs a different look. So I don't think that movies in general use CGI too much. I just think that CGI is one particular tool in a filmmaker's arsenal. And I think that Joe, rightly in this case, felt that it wasn't the best tool, or at least the only tool he wanted to use to flesh out the world of Neverland for us. So I love Avatar. I mean, everyone loves Avatar. Pandora is such an extraordinary world that James Cameron created. So I would never suggest that less CGI is better than more CGI. I just think it was the exact right choice for this particular film.
Anyway, talk to me a little bit about this. Apparently, you wrote in a Nirvana song. So talk to me about that. What's the deal with that? Why'd you put a Nirvana song in? I mean, Nirvana's great, but what's the deal, brother?
That was all Joe.
Yeah.
That song was certainly not in the script. Joe was rehearsing with Hugh and the Pirates, and they kind of went off and did their own thing. And then came back and said, well, we kind of thought something up. Check this out. And suddenly the Pirates were singing Nirvana. And I think when I first heard it, I kind of went, wait a second, what? And then as you listen to it, it just felt so right and like such a dynamic, weird introduction to Blackbeard. And that's Joe. I mean, Joe is this mad scientist when it comes to filmmaking who can find these interesting, slightly left-of-center, unexpected beats that make the movie. And it's interesting because it's a beat that certainly did not originate in my script, but it has become one of my favorite moments in the entire film.
Yeah, I'm picturing audience members watching the film, and they go like, oh, cool, it's a Nirvana song, you know. So, yeah, I think that kind of stuff is kind of fun to do, personally.
The guiding principle for this version of Neverland, which, by the way, feels very true to Barry's book, is it is a world where anything is possible. Mm-hmm. There is a sense of anarchy. There's a sense of nothing is beyond possibility. And so, does it make sense there's a Nirvana song in an imaginary world where a boy's been transported from World War II? No, it makes zero sense. And that's the genius of it and the beauty of what Joe has built there.
Anyway, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Jason Feeks. He's the writer of the Pan film, the new Pan film, which is about Peter Pan. And we've been talking a while just about stuff, crazy stuff, like Nirvana and stuff. So, one thing, Jason, before you go, I just want to ask you, so you originally wrote this film, and Hollywood loves franchises. They can't get enough of them. They're, like, addicted to them. Did you write this originally thinking this could be a franchise? Because, hey, this is a franchise. That means more money for you.
I didn't so much think franchise as I thought I want to take my time telling these origin stories. Mm-hmm. These are some of the greatest characters in the history of literature: Peter Pan, Captain Hook, Tinkerbell, Tiger Lily. And I didn't feel that 1 2-hour film was enough to sort of capture the arcs of all these characters becoming the characters, or I should say the versions of the characters we meet in Barry's book. So it wasn't a choice to leave some of these full arcs out by design or out of desire to have sequels, as much as it was to say, this is Peter's story. This is the story of a boy named Peter becomes the Peter Pan, and there's certainly a lot of room to discover how Captain Hook becomes the Captain Hook, and the same I think is true for Tinkerbell and to a certain extent Tiger Lily as well. But I don't think you can go into something like this expecting for or even, hoping for sequels. You just hope that everyone loves this movie and has an amazing experience. And if people want to hear more of this story, then that would be an extraordinary thing. And I'd be so excited to sort of figure out those answers.
The movie is Pan, and the writer is Jason Feeks. Anyway, Jason, thank you so much for being on the Screening Room.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me.
Yeah, best of luck with your film.
All right, thank you. Take care.
And of course, if you want to hear more of that, if you want to listen to it because you missed the show or are too lazy to check out Screening Room TV on our website and YouTube, this will be on our website later. You can check it out later on the Screening Room at WRHU.com. You can check that out. All that and more. Basically, news articles. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And so you can check that out later. And of course, when we get back here on the Screening Room, we're going to talk, guess what? Vin Diesel. I think he might want to direct the next Fast and Furious movie. Will he? What? Wow, that's weird. Don't even want to see that. I don't even want to see the next Fast and Furious movie. I don't even want to see him directing it. But of course, that's the deal. When we get back here in the Screening Room, we'll talk more about that. But first, Haley, what you got for me?
I have the scoop on an electric new feature starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Benedict Cumberbatch. And Pixar's The Incredibles 2 has liftoff. That's all coming up next on the Screening Room.
Ow! When we get back here on the Screening Room, we'll have more fun here on WRHU.
Hey you. You see that video in the middle of the screen? If you missed last week's episode, click it. Click it here, right now. I mean, seriously. Now, do it now. Now let's get back to the Screening Room.
Hollywood certainly has a way of electrifying its audience, especially when it comes to legendary actors like Benedict Cumberbatch and Jake Gyllenhaal. But what happens when you put both actors together and peg them against each other? A new drama titled The Current War has the answer. The film stars Cumberbatch and Gyllenhaal as Thomas Edison and competitor George Westinghouse, respectively, as they battle for dominance in the electrical industry during the 1880s. Michael Mitnick wrote the screenplay with Alfonso Gomez-Reyon set to direct. The The historical drama is even looking to be a contender for 2017 Academy Award nominations. Brad Bird's The Incredibles was, well, incredible in the eyes of critics and audience members alike. In a recent interview, Bird mentioned that he took ideas from the first movie and plans to utilize them in writing The Incredibles 2. Brad Bird is most notorious for directing feature films such as The Iron Giant, The Incredibles, and Tomorrowland, and The Incredibles 2 will be his latest project. According to IMDb, The Incredibles 2 is due out for a November 16th, 2016 release, just a few months after Finding Dory's June 17 release. That's all the news I have for you right now, so stay tuned for more news on the march in a few. Back to you, Tommy.
It's Tommy Smart, live in New York. Gauski's bringing me to you via the magic of WRHU 88.7 FM here on WRHU. I can keep saying that. All right, I just got to bring this up real quick before we go into this whole Vin Diesel thing. So before somebody was mentioning Half-Blood Prince, I thought it was Half-Apple Prince.
Right, because we just played the Harry Potter soundtrack from the Half-Blood Prince, and we were all trying to figure out what houses we would be in.
We came up to a very nice conclusion about this.
I'm
Apparently,
pretty satisfied.
So starting with Tommy.
I'd be in Slytherin, apparently.
You would be so Slytherin. You and Malfoy, BFFs. You and Draco, you'd like go to the club together.
They're just like talking really dirty smack about Harry Potter, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then we got Mandela
Chilling
here.
with the homies in Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw.
Why Ravenclaw, though?
I don't know. It just seems like an interesting fit. Just like the chill, cool group that ain't got that's neutral. Just
Well,
Oh, right,
no,
'cause they never did
Ravenclaws-
anything.
No, they did stuff. They're
They did
smart.
stuff.
They're bookworms. Those guys.
they're bookworms, but then I'll come
They're-
and change the game a little.
Right. They're intellectuals.
Right. So they go right in there.
And then we came to Haley.
Intellectual.
I'm a Hufflepuff, you
And
guys.
she's totally a Hufflepuff. It says it all.
We're very good finders.
Wasn't like Hufflepuff with the one with the kid that died in like the fourth movie?
Shh! Don't. Nobody needs to know that.
Such a shame.
They're just really nice. They're loyal people. They're very kind-hearted.
And you can't take them seriously in a fight, because think of it, you put like a Hufflepuff there. Guy from
What even
Hufflepuff.
is a Hufflepuff?
I know, I keep thinking of like a pastry.
I'm thinking
giant
of like a
pastry
bird,
boy.
like
I'm thinking,
a
a little
Hufflepuff
fluffy bird.
a little fluffy Hufflepuff.
No, I think it's a wolf. No, a Ravenclaw is the
Kirby.
birdhouse.
Birdhouse. Oh no, you're right. Birdhouse, yeah, because they were birds.
Yeah.
But I'm just picturing like Hufflepuff. I'm picturing like a little cream puff.
Yeah, I'm thinking like
Kind of
Hufflepuff
person,
snacks.
like
I
a
mean,
little
I
circle,
am a
like-
cream puff of a person, so.
full of sweets, huh?
That's fine.
Well, I just like sugar quite a lot.
Yeah, that's good too.
And Gowski, what were you? Like,
And they left me with Gryffindor. I kind of like that though, like. But they also said, well, actually, one of my camera crew was saying Cedric Diggory or something. I think I got his name right.
was he the one that died?
Yeah.
Is he the one that died? I don't know.
Is it gonna die?
That's
The
fine.
house is cursed.
The house is cursed.
Wish we knew more about Harry Potter so we could talk about it more.
Yes. So yes, for all
It's
of
been
our
a
audience
while
out
since I've seen the
there,
movies.
Yeah, next time though. Next time.
Next
for all the
time.
audience now, you know which house we'd be in. So.
We'll have a marathon one day, and then we'll have a whole Harry Potter show next week.
Oh yeah,
Stay
man.
tuned, guys.
Oh, man.
yeah. This is funny. All right, so I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about Vin Diesel for a minute here because he's like holding up the Fast and Furious 8 movie, which is not surprising. Why would you want to jump into it again without your friend that actually just died? Forget that he just died. But they have a release date of April 14th, 2015, or 2016, or whatever, I forget. Oh, 2015. That just happened, so it's like 2016. Anyway, this article's wrong then. Shame on you. Cinephile or whatever this is. So basically, Fast 7 or Furious 7 made 1.5 billion ticket sales worldwide. And so there's obviously a rush to get the next one going through. But here's the thing, though, that apparently they're racing to get this sequel made, but at the same time, they have an issue like basically James Wan doesn't want to direct it, and other people don't want to, because he wants to go to doing horror movies, which Conjuring 2, which I don't blame him. He wants to do like that kind of movie. Go ahead, do it. There's some talks about even Vin Diesel trying to direct it, but I don't know if that's happening.
Yeah, there's like a dispute going on with him and Justin Lin. Right
Really?
now. Yeah, they're like arguing over like the creative.
Aspect of it?
Yeah, the creative aspect of it. And well, this has just been rumors of this. It hasn't been confirmed, but
Well,
with what you're saying now,
The
it makes
spokesperson
sense.
says, like, obviously, if there was any issue, we wouldn't be making the 8th film with Vin Diesel right now. I love that, how their spokespeople always like, the PR people always like, well, so vague. Well, we can't say it, can't deny it, and we can't confirm it. But hey, who knows? I just like I love it. They're like you can't get a straight answer out of anybody.
10 to 9 more
hey,
confirmed this
journalism.
upcoming movie.
But maybe he's just upset because, like I always tell people, you know what they need to do? They need to do a crossover film with Jason Bourne. That would be beautiful. They just would be. Because they didn't also want to go to New York, too.
Yeah, they're going to be shooting here in New York.
They're shooting in New York, so why not just like have it on the streets and have like Jason Bourne running around doing his thing? And you're like, I don't know who I am. I'm having an identity crisis, you know, kind of thing, and then just like smacking people around. totally end the franchise. And it would be funny if he got into a fight with Luda, and Luda would just be like, get back.
Well, after the last film, I mean, now we see that Tej can actually fight now, so.
Hey, fun fact too, by the way.
What?
Ludacris.
Yeah, what about?
He was here.
Yeah, he was here yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
He was here yesterday.
Oh, yeah, he was talking
really
about,
cool.
Yeah, that was really funny. And he was like talking about like I think everybody's just like Fast and Furious fans. It's a big demand for these kind of movies, so like they're obviously gonna find ways to keep making
most
them.
people I was talking about with the Lucas concert only knew him really from Fast and Furious.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shame.
Yeah. I mean, I was with him since Chicken and Beers, man. That was a great album. No, that album cover, you got to see it, but we'll get into that another time. He's only with Chicken and Beers on the album cover.
Oh, beautiful.
It's amazing.
So this is funny. Get this. There's a relative media company is producing a movie, but guess what? They're bankrupt, so they hardly don't even exist anymore. So why do you even bring a movie to a studio that's not in business anymore?
And well, it was at the time, but anyway, this is The Crow. This is one of the real great cult films and whatnot. This is basically off a story of Eric Draven, who him and his wife, they end up getting killed one night. And Eric Draven, he's a rock star, and so he comes back to life from the grave, and then he goes out to avenge his wife and kill the people responsible. And this was a great film back in '94, but now they've had so many problems with it.
Right, but what's so funny about it is that they've been through like 4 directors.
Right.
The most recent to read is Corin Hardy. And then you have like 3 actors that have left. And it's just funny to me because it's like this movie can't get made, but also the company's bankrupt, so they're halting it.
Yeah, they're still trying to say it's going to be made, but it just...
No, it's not going to be made.
This film has been in limbo. This is in... Well, you know what the term is.
But, it's just, like, really funny about it is that these movies, like, the movies are in development. Movies are in development for, like, years and years and years and years. A person can intern at a company, basically go on to do their own thing, and then 9 years later, the movies that were in development when they were working there get produced then. Development is really slow. They're really slow. What's really funny, too, when an agent is actually pushing for a movie to get made than the actual company is. That's funny.
Right.
But no, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
The Crow.
I think a lot of the directors are even scared to, like, take on this, because this was a beloved cult film.
Well, then you get, like, the issue with, like, Old Boy, where, like, Old Boy is, like, a masterpiece back in Korea. But then what ends up happening is that, like, you have Spike Lee going, oh, I'm going to try to take this on. And then no matter how good it is, it's always going to be like, yeah, but it's not like the original, it's not.
Right.
So that's never gonna happen. But anyway, we gotta review some movies when we get back. So, Brother Wells, what are we reviewing?
Reviewing The Intern, Stonewall, and Hotel Transylvania 2.
Stonewall, I love that title. And Hotel Transylvania 2, that'd be fun. Anyway, we get to see like whether or not De Niro can actually be an intern at 70 years old. But first, Haley, what you got for me?
Eli Roth gives the industry a lesson in money management, and Ridley Scott has unfinished business. All that and more coming up on The Screening Room.
All right, stay tuned. We're going to go review some stuff later after the news, so just sit back and be chill. This is Tom Smart, King of the Movies on 88.7 FM, WRHU.
Prometheus 2 is finally getting some flesh and bones. The sequel to the Alien prequel will officially be titled Alien: Paradise Lost. The title of Prometheus 2 is a reference to one of John Milton's most famous poems, Fall of Man. Scott has confirmed that Alien: Paradise Lost will feature the home planet of the engineers and various, quote, more terrifying creatures. In addition, Scott says Blade Runner 2 may be subtitled Android's Dream, in reference to the novel Blade Runner was originally inspired by Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Ridley Scott's The Martian, starring Matt Damon, opens in theaters this Wednesday. Speaking of Matt Damon, if you haven't already heard, Jason Bourne will soon be returning to the big screen for his 5th adventure. Co-starring in the film is Julia Stiles. There's no word of the film's basic premise, but we do know Damon himself is co-writing the film. In relation to the film, Damon says, Bourne has his memory back, but that doesn't mean he knows everything. It's 12 years since Jason Bourne has been on the grid. So we have to answer the questions, Where has he been? What's he doing? Once we answered that, we had a movie. In previous reports, producers for the Bourne series revealed that the movies were heavily inspired by a controversy in the Bush presidency and were waiting for another world change. In horror film news, critics are calling Eli Roth's marketing techniques a make-or-break moment for the indie film industry. Director of The Green Inferno and his marketing partners of Blumhouse Productions want to show industry leaders marketing a film doesn't have to be expensive. What matters is who you are marketing to. Low in release marketing budgets typically cost anywhere from $30 to $35 million. Roth is only spending $8 million to market to two targeted audiences. That's all the news I have for you this week, but tune in next week for more news on the march. Back to you guys.
So, Bob De Niro, he's a funny guy because he's been legendary actor, during the 70s, 80s, and I think well through the 90s as well. But since 2005, he's been basically, since Meet the Parents, he's been basically doing comedies. I think just just playing off his celebrity and prostituting himself a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Because, you do these comedies and a lot of them were half-baked. Can't deny that. But what ends up happening here, of course he had Silver Linings Playbook, that was good and everything like that.
Right.
But after that, it's whatever. So in this movie, he's a 70-year-old intern, nobody's going to deny that. And what's funny about it is that in this movie, he's actually really good. Isn't that right? Thank you.
Yeah, so the intern basically looks at De Niro's character, Ben Whitaker, who's kind of at a point of his life where he kind of needs some excitement, a little something to go on now as he's turned 70. And so he gets a job as a senior intern at this fashion company out in Brooklyn with Anne Hathaway's character. And as unusual as the situation is, he learns from the plays, he gets the hang of things, and he sort of becomes a mentor to Hathaway's character. And let's go to when he figures out Facebook.
So you're on Facebook, huh?
Well, I've been trying to figure it out. I joined about 10 minutes ago.
Well, better late than never. You want some help?
I'd love some, but really, you've got better things to do.
No, I need a diversion. You have a photo of yourself?
No, I need one.
If you want to look up all those hotties from high school, you do. Say cheese.
Cheese.
That's cute. Okay, I just need to send that to you.
So, De Niro's been playing basically I think everybody's going to know as a guy who played Gangster Pictures, from even some all Martin Scorsese's movies. Obviously, I think we'll go into his repertoire, his historical attributes. However, what's funny too is that it's cool to see him play a dude who's old, but is the classic image of he is still a dude, a guy,
right,
a man, and he's becomes a mentor to even the younger people. So it's cool seeing him just as a guy who's the happy optimist.
There's an old school meets new school thing. It's almost somewhat of a more polished version of the internship, a little bit.
Yeah.
And but it's nice. Yeah, he plays a really unique character, a lot of realism, and of course he brings the actual age to the man, and he's trying to get rejuvenated. He's trying to get a little something going.
Right. And I like how he obviously you have Anne Hathaway in this movie, who's she's young and a little bit headstrong, naive.
Yeah, pretty relatable character.
But what's really crazy about it too is that this isn't like other rom-coms, because if other just comedy movies or rom-coms or whatever, because if they did the stereotypical kind, they would actually have the intern be young, and then there'd be a romantic relationship between Anne Hathaway's character and the younger intern. Here that doesn't happen, obviously. Well, forget the fact he's 70 years old, and that'd be really just weird and really pervy.
Right.
But definitely here, she becomes a friendship. It's more a friendship and that than is it romance. And I respect and love the extra.
Because this film really drives home the fact that no matter how out of touch one is, young the person is, young people can learn from the old folks can learn from the young people. So,
and it's hip, young, it's organic, and
fun film.
It runs a little bit long, but still, it's enjoyable. I like it.
Yeah, music is alright and everything, and it was cool.
I wasn't actually able to see this movie this weekend, but I was I leave it to you guys to go see it. It makes what's the difference between the intern and the internship? Because there was actually that one with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, which made me think, I was maybe these are going to be slightly similar, but I guess it...
That's a totally different movie than The Internship.
It's again, this is it's a slightly polished version, because you're dealing with an intern that's much older.
That's true.
Yeah.
He has more of his... let's say he has more of a sense of the working world and everything, and
at the same time, that was a comedy with those two guys trying to play off the Wedding Crash's success, and it just ended not terrible, but still pretty bad.
Gotcha.
That's what I say about it. But yeah, happens. All right. The only thing about this movie is that it's a little bit long. I will say, like, movies in the past couple years still haven't found that great sweet spot for how long movies can actually be. But I would say if it doesn't hurt it, it's still a fun movie.
It depends really on the picture and whatnot, but nonetheless, go see it. It's a fun film.
Yeah, so it's great. Let's go see it. Our next picture is Hotel Transylvania 2. Now, what's going on with Dracula, man?
So basically, this is 7 years after the first film, and now Mavis and Johnny have a son named Dennis, who's half human, half vampire, and his grandfather, their father Dracula, he basically is a little worried that he's not going to be like, carry on the family legacy. And so while Mavis and Johnny are going out one weekend, Dracula tries to work out to get Dennis to become a real vampire, but he gets a new unexpected visit. And let's go to the clip.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I
Mommy, I'm too old for lullabies.
What? That's not how that one goes.
This is the way most people sing it.
Most people? What's wrong with suffer, suffer, scream in pain, blood is spilling from your brain?
Daddy.
Come on, you know how I sang it to you. Zombies gnaw you like a plum, piercing cries and you succumb.
So, here's the thing. I don't like vampires. I don't like these weird little movies about like, creepy people.
I'm not big on the vampires.
But I mean, the first one was kind of cute. But I mean, it doesn't have. Here's the thing. One thing I like about it, one thing when you love movies, you love watching movies that have references to different movies. You know what I mean, Gowski? Where you have like all these movies where like they have references to other movies with the genre of like horror movies and like.
Sure.
You guys ever get that feeling where you're just like, oh, cool, that movie's like from like.
I think more recently than ever. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
It will come up, and it depends on what kind of movie.
Right, so like, I love that they did that in the first movie. Here, they don't. All the jokes, basically. There's like one writer returning from the other movie, and I think Adam Sandler came on to write this picture.
Right, it's mild level humor this time around.
And then it goes to like social media and other stuff that really people don't understand. Well, only our younger generation really understands.
They were really trying this time to get into a more human level of, having to deal with a baby and then just the, family legacy thing and whatnot. So,
yeah, but it's like,
things.
But the emotionality of it is as hardcore as it was in the original picture, and that's one of my biggest problems here.
But it's still colorful, though. I mean,
it's colorful.
You got all these characters here.
Yeah, but it doesn't it doesn't do as well as the first picture. So I'm just like disappointed about that. It happens. So I mean, okay, if you're really bored, you don't know what to do with your kids because you have issues with relating to them, or just bored with living, go see it.
Tommy.
But I mean,
Tommy,
I'm just saying, like that's
nonetheless.
What kind of gosh opinion is that?
You should take your kids to see this. I mean, it still is a good animation film and whatnot. So
okay, it's okay, and the animation's not that good, but okay, fine. All right, I say see it if you're bored, but I mean like marginally see it. But I don't say like got to see it. So
no one's saying that for this.
I mean, I give credit to Adam Sandler because I think his voiceover work is better than his live action work.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
But that's just me. I mean,
I saw Punch Drunk Love like a few weeks ago, and I was like, when is he going to get back to that again?
We don't need no more pixels, please. No more pixels.
This in general, you don't like pixelated in general. That's weird. Think about it, if you're pixelated, well, it's like then you're just like really weird.
That was such a terrible film.
But it's let's go to our next picture. So Stonewall.
So Stonewall, basically, this is a film that is around the 1969 Stonewall riots that started the gay liberation movement, and this sort of focuses on a character, Danny, who comes out to New York, and he basically comes across the Stonewall Inn, and he starts seeing what's going on with the gay community, and gets in on the action a little bit. And let's go to when he's in a supermarket.
Got a lady stocking in the size 1, or is that on the other floor, miss? No? All right, what about a Puerto Rican Coco Blanco bar?
What do you want, Ray?
I just need a pack of cigarettes, Danny. Look, I wouldn't ask. I'm sorry, it's an emergency.
Ray, I've had this job for 2 weeks, all right?
Danny, Judy just died.
Judy who?
Garland.
So here's the thing with this movie. It's like, you take a fictional character and tell a fictional story surrounding around the events of something that happened in real life.
Right.
And it tries to do two of one thing. So they try to tell a story of Stonewall also, but it gets
coming of age
here.
story.
Right. It's coming of age, just about homosexual coming of age story. But at the same time, it doesn't just focus on the story, the whole fictional story, and not as much on the historical accuracies, because they try to do a little bit of both, but it doesn't come off as well.
Right. I actually would have preferred if they had just been like a group of people, a certain group of people we could focus on and just do the movement here. Because I was really surprised that they went with one guy here just to focus on for this story.
Right. And also, it just like the writing's bad. The sets are terrible. The sets look like they're from Sesame Street.
Yeah. Actually, another critic said that too. It looks like it's something from Sesame Street.
No, it's just funny because it's like it's really, and then like acting's terrible. Everything's. I mean, the directing.
Yeah.
The directors.
He captured the time period, but everything else about it just, oh god.
And this
I was really disappointed with Roland Emmerich here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He does these like 2012. He does like all these big, massive stories. Like Day After Tomorrow, and he tries to branch out into something new here, but it doesn't come off as well. It's just overall just bad. Yeah. I know that's really general, but it's just this.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Acting was terrible. Directing was bad. I mean, the rest of the cast kind of gave really bland performances. Don't see this.
Yeah. Don't see it.
Fair
there
enough.
are better movies to see.
Yep.
Just saying. Anyway, that's what we thought of the movies right now. Let's see what you guys saw this weekend. Haley?
So coming in at number 1 is Hotel Transylvania 2, which grossed $13.2 million on its opening weekend. And next up is The Intern, grossing $6.2 million on its opening weekend as well. At number 3 is Maze Runner: The Scorched Trials, grossing $4.1 million this weekend and $41.8 million overall. And followed by that is Everest, grossing $4 million this weekend and $14 million overall. And finally at number 5 is Black Mass, grossing $13.5 million overall, this weekend, and $34.6 million overall.
Now it's time for the Screening Room's Top 10.
I gotta take my hat off for this one. So yesterday, my peoples in here, my esteemed colleagues, got the pleasure of seeing Ludacris, and so I decided to do a top 10 on top 10 music documentaries. At number 10, we got Beef. No, we're not talking about a documentary on musicians and USDA. No, we're talking hip-hop beefs. We're talking 50 Cent and Ja Rule, NWA and Ice Cube, Kool Moe D, Busy B, Eminem and Benzino, and plenty more. The documentary spawned 2 other series, a television series, and I actually heard there's a Beef 5 in the works. At number 9, we got Live Forever, another 2003 documentary on the rise and fall of British pop. Sort of fell off in the 90s a little bit and whatnot. It was big back in the 80s, 70s, but now we can't really say that because we got Ed Sheeran, Sam Smith, Adele, and others. At number 8, we got the Rolling Stones' Gimme Shelter. This was from 1970. This chronicled the last few weeks of the Stones' 1969 tour, which ended with the disastrous Outmount Free concert, which saw the death of Meredith Hunter and plenty of others, and it was pretty bad. Number 7, we got Tupac Resurrection, another 2003 documentary that took a vivid look at Tupac, who was considered one of the greatest rappers of all time, and the film utilized clips, Talk to Friends, Afeni Shakur, of course, and even had Tupac narrate those moments in his life. At number 6, we got Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Running Down a Dream from 2007. It was a 4-hour documentary, and people like George Hansen, Johnny Depp, Rick Rubin, a bunch of others, all did interviews and talked about the band's formation and where they were around that time. And at number 5, we got Be Here to Love Me, which is a documentary on Townes Van Sant, who was at the center of Austin's outlaw country scene. While others friends of his became big, he sort of fell into alcoholism and mental illness, and the film kind of basically looks at what drove him to darkness, so to speak. At number 4, we got George Harrison, Living in the Material World, a 2011 documentary made by Martin Scorsese. And it was basically looked at the life of the Beatles member from his early days in Liverpool, his influence of Krishna, consciousness movement, and this actually received an Emmy and won a Critics' Choice Award. At number 3, we got Amy, which was released actually in July. Recent film on Amy Winehouse, looked at her trials and tribulations throughout her life. At number 2, we got Some Kind of Monster, the 2004 documentary on Metallica when they lost the bassist and frontman. And at number 1, we got Woodstock, the 1970 documentary that chronicled the Woodstock Festival in New York. And actually, fun fact, it was edited by Thelma Schoolmaker and Martin Scorsese. And that is your top 10.
Oh, yeah. So, it's funny. I just got this thing with my sister sent me a picture of her dog in this Pope outfit. It's pretty funny. Check this out sometime. It's hilarious. Look at this guy.
Are you going to post that like somewhere? Or
Maybe. This is funny. I just literally just got this right now.
It's because the Pope's in town this weekend.
Sorry, I know that has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about in the show, but it's just funny.
Do you think the Pope would ever be in a movie?
I'll cast him.
You okay? You'll cast him in a movie?
I think that would be really interesting.
We do a movie on the Vatican, I mean.
Oh, yeah. I'll have him like in trying to order something in a Jewish deli. That'd be funny.
Wow.
It'd be funny. You'd be the only guy who's trying to send back soup in there. But it'd be funny.
No soup for you.
No soup for you. It would be like talking about minestrone soup and how he has to send it back because it's just not to his liking.
That sounds like a skit out of like SNL.
I know,
or
right?
from Seinfeld.
Well,
Soup Nazi versus the Pope.
Soup Nazi versus the Pope. On it.
These are all really weird ideas, people. Really weird ideas.
Well, it's all about creativity.
It might just work.
It's all about creativity. So anyway, it's about 1 more minute. Oh yeah, it's about 11 o'clock now. So anyway, Botch is next with the fabulous polka show, and she's excited right now about that. And that'd be awesome because we love polka music. In fact, she even had her own little marathon last week and did fantastic. So many people love her, and she's a wonderful human being. So I love that. So you gotta listen to that, and of course, we'll tune in next week for another exciting episode of The Screening Room, where we talk all that is wonderful in the week of cinema. Anyway, this is Tommy Smart, king of the movie business, signing off.
And remember, tune in next Sunday on 88.7 WRHU FM. You just left The Screening Room with Tommy Smart and DJ Gowski.